What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So I will say I'm not surprised to see this. I am a little surprised to see how quickly this information or this news is coming to us. You can check the timestamp here on this article. You see here it was late last night, 9:06 p.m. I don't know if that's Eastern, but Mountain Standard, Pacific, whatever time zone this came across or got published. But it says 9:06 p.m. So it was late last night. More likely, many people probably aren't seeing this, didn't see it, aren't going to be aware of it until sometime over the weekend, possibly not until early next week. But we're bringing it to you because we were covering this TV series, one back in February when we got the first look images for this TV series, and then in March, early March, when we got the first trailer for this series. Now, The Bondsman, starring Kevin Bacon, dropped on April 2nd on Amazon Prime. I believe this was also an Amazon original series, and it was only 8 episodes. Wasn't a long series, and the episodes were roughly anywhere between 27 to about 32, 33 minutes long. So not very long episodes either. And again, they dropped the entire series on April 2nd, and we are not even out a month and about 2 weeks, a month and a week and a half, and here we are. Amazon's The Bondsman canceled after 1 season. The show, which starred Kevin Bacon, landed at number 9 on Nielsen's streaming charts during its first week, but apparently after that it was non-existent in the top 10, and I'm guessing a lot of people just turned the dial. They switched the station, they went on to watch something else, and that's unfortunate, unless many people just binge watched it that first week, because again, it was only 8 episodes. It wasn't that long of a series. The episodes weren't that long, so it's very possible that's why it may have dropped out from that top 10 streaming charts during the first week, because you could have literally binge watched, if you had 3.5 or so hours to burn on an afternoon, you could have watched the entire thing in one afternoon and been done with it. So I watched it, but before I give my opinions on it, I'll give my opinions throughout this article. So I got 3 different articles for this, and we'll look at this first one. We'll go look at the other 2 just to see if there's any additional information that can be obtained through those. So we'll cherry pick them. Otherwise, we're just going to stick to the one article. So if you didn't know, this series obviously is about a bondsman. That's Kevin Bacon, and he is working on behalf of the devil, trying to track down demons who have escaped hell to then send them back. Yes, you're probably wondering, that sounds awful familiar. We've seen that time and time again. Yes, we have, and I expressed that when we did the first look images back in February. I expressed that when we saw the trailer, because we got what I think was 10 or 11, actually more than that, seasons of Supernatural. And Supernatural, that's pretty much what it was. You had demons, monsters, whatever, that either were roaming Earth or had escaped hell, and Sam and Dean tracked them down, killed them, sent them back to hell. So that was a long-standing show built on that foundation, and we've seen this in other series, other movies, so it wasn't groundbreaking. This story or this concept wasn't groundbreaking. So I'm not so surprised to hear that this show's been canceled, but maybe a little surprised that it's happened so quickly. Usually it would take more than a month or so before a show gets fully canceled. So let's jump into the article details, see what they're saying, see if there's any rationale or reason as to why. All right, so let's zoom in here a little bit. All right, so The Bondsman, Prime Video's horror series starring Kevin Bacon, has been canceled. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. The show debuted its first and only season via Prime Video on April 3rd. It's funny because when I checked my Prime account, it said April 2nd, so I'm not sure the discrepancy there. With 8 episodes, during its first week, The Bondsman landed at number 9 Nielsen streaming charts for March 31st through April 6th with 563 million minutes watched. However, it swiftly exited the charts and did not land in the top 10 again. And as I already mentioned, that would make sense, because in that first week, I'm sure many people just binge watched the entire series and then they never went back to it, because it probably doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't have much rewatch value. I watched it. It felt like a one and done for me. I would never have a reason to think, oh, I'm going to go back and watch The Bondsman again. Now, if they were to have done a second season, normally what I would do is ahead of a second season or a new season of a TV series, I might go back and watch the last few episodes of the previous season. Or in a situation like this, I would just go back and watch the entire first season because it's 8 episodes. They're very short episodes in preparation for what's going to happen in season 2. But that's not going to happen here. Bacon stars as a former country music star and murdered bounty hunter, Hub Halloran, who gets a second shot at life when the devil resurrects him to catch demons who have escaped from hell. Jennifer Nettles, Damon, more casting information. So let's keep going. THR's TV critic Angie Han commended Bacon's performance in the show, complimenting his ability to land the show's humor with a well-timed grunt and its emotions with the perfect hangdog expression. Such is his charisma that he's nearly able to make the whole strange jumble of tones and tunes and supernatural gore sing through sheer force of will. Han added, quote, outside of Bacon's performance, the horror dramedy is more of a mixed bag, fitfully amusing, but rarely as funny or heartfelt or surprising as it wants to be, and never as memorable as its attention-grabbing premise might lead you to hope. I would agree with that. Let's keep going. Granger David created the series and served as an executive producer alongside Jason Blum, Jeremy Gold. Okay, so all that don't really care about all that. Let's see. Olsen told THR that with Bondsman, he wanted to write something that would be fun to watch, fun to make, and fun to write. When he learned that Bacon was interested in the show, I was like, wait, I get to have Kevin Bacon hunting demons with Blumhouse. Yes, please, I'm in. The quote continues, there are a lot of demon hunting shows. I think we're now going to get into some of the maybe rationale here. There are a lot of demon hunting shows. There's tons of movies and things. It's a genre unto itself, right? But what makes our show a fun, unique, and original ride is in the mashup of combining that with the family dramedy, Appalachian noir, a country music story, and oh yeah, Kevin Bacon putting chainsaws through the faces of demons, Olsen added. All that mix makes it a fun, hopefully original ride. You really don't know whether you're going to laugh out loud, scream out loud, or look at who's ever watching with you on the couch and say, what the blank, that was fun. Okay, not much more information that we gathered from that. So I think that's, okay, so really no information as to what the rationale is for being canceled. So let's go over to Variety. Okay, so Variety's not going to show us. Okay, there we go. All right, so The Bondsman's been canceled. Yep, got that. Action horror series. All this information we already knew. Still everything we already knew. The synopsis. So nothing new yet as to why this might have been canceled so quickly. Received good reviews from critics upon its release. Yeah, so nothing. Variety isn't telling us anything new either. All right, so we have one more. Let's go over to Deadline. The Bondsman canceled by Prime after one season. All right, so let's jump into deadlines. Let's get rid of these. The news comes more than a month after the 8 episode. Yep, we already talked about all these numbers, so nothing new there. Okay, by its second week, The Bondsman had dropped off Nielsen ranks. It has remained on Prime Video's top 10 list, currently at number 5 in the U.S. It also scored high with critics and viewers, averaging 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, but has failed to generate buzz on social media. I would agree. I don't know if anyone that was talking about this series. I mean, we covered it obviously because we cover horror content, so we were obviously on top of this one. We were looking forward to seeing this series, what it was going to be about, even though I felt like we had seen this premise before, as I already mentioned. But still a new kind of take or a new angle, so to speak, that was going to be given to us. All this is, again, what we've already just read about the premise. Let's see here. More just about who's producers, all that stuff. So nothing new across the 3 articles. Everyone's pretty much saying the exact same thing. Like I said, shocked that it happened so quickly. I would have thought they would have waited a little bit longer before making that decision, but a month out, they canceled it. I think, again, the fact that there wasn't a lot of marketing push behind the series. We came across it because, again, it was just one of those things where We are in the horror space. We're constantly looking to see what's coming out new. But when you think about your general audience, I don't think they either knew about this, and if they did, they just stumbled across it while they pulled up Amazon Prime and went under TV and see, oh, new to TV or new series in the TV section, and the Bondsman was listed. They see Kevin Bacon and they go watch it. And either they turned it off or they said, oh, these are short episodes, and they just binge watched it to never come back to it again. So again, this wasn't new groundbreaking premise. This wasn't a new groundbreaking like type of story that we haven't already seen before. I think that might have been part of its demise. Was, again, there's so many of these types of demon hunter things we've already seen and we continue to see. So it's not unique in itself, and unfortunately it didn't bring anything unique. I watched the series. There were, and again, it was only 8 episodes. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is a great series, I'm gonna get out there, because I haven't talked about it since the trailer dropped. I watched it. I was going to do a episode by episode breakdown, but it wasn't a compelling enough TV series for me to think I'm gonna put in the time to do 8 videos, 1 per episode, to do a breakdown. I don't think it was that interesting of a show to do something like that. So I passed on it. But I did watch it. Again, it was okay. I watched it. I've forgotten about it. I'm not going back to it again. I probably will never go back to it again. So, anyways, that's going to do it for this horror news update. Again, this information just dropped late last night. Amazon's The Bondsman has been canceled after 1 season. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know, did you watch the first season? Did you enjoy it? And if you did enjoy it, are you sad to see that the show's already now been canceled? Were you looking forward to a second season? Or if you did watch it, are you like, yeah, I'm okay, don't need a second season, won't ever watch it again? Like I said, let us know down in the comment section. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.